Get your you get your cut. Don't worry.
Guys, I am very honored and excited to have my good friend Rami Jahedi on today on the Ripple Effect podcast. Rami is an inspirational entrepreneur that has done some amazing things throughout his career. He is running his own company, OpticTour. He just started a production studio called 3-1 Productions. He has a show called Talk to Rami, and he is probably one of the nicest, most committed individuals to making a difference in your life that you could possibly ever meet. He takes my Ripple philosophy completely to heart, and he's out constantly promoting what I do and why I do it, and that people need to know me and be aware of what's going on in the Ripple. But he lives in the process of rippling. And I'm so grateful that he agreed to come on the show because it's been long overdue. We definitely needed to do this before now, but our schedules are in such a way that sometimes it's hard for us to even make time to connect and be in the same location or in the same city at the same time. But I'm so glad that he agreed to be on the show today, and I can't wait for you guys to meet him. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. I am your host, Steve Harper, and with me today is one of my good friends, one of my best friends, Rami Jahedi is here today, the superstar of Talk to Rami. This is,
Thank
I'm
you.
so, yeah. How many years have we been talking about doing this? I mean, I've been on your podcast, but I was saying in our intro that, oftentimes, we're not in the same town at the same time. So, to get you here is like, I am super stoked to have you for the show.
Thank you so much for
welcome.
having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot, man. Yeah, we were planning to do this for a long time, but we eventually, we said we're gonna do it, and we
are going to do it. Yeah, and we were having lunch yesterday. And we're like, okay, tomorrow we're doing this tomorrow, it worked out great. Well,
yeah.
I want to give those of you, my audience, those that don't know you, I want to give them some perspective of kind of who you are, because you and I have known each other for a long time. Actually, looking at the number of years that we've known each other, it's super impressive, right? And one of the things that I think that is so amazing is that you have really created the kind of world that you always envisioned. I remember meeting you for the first time, that you knew what you wanted to do. You knew the kind of entrepreneur you wanted to be. And, that doesn't just happen overnight, right? But even before that, I give our audience a sense of kind of who you are as a person, and then as an entrepreneur.
As you said, but thank you for the introduction. But as you know me, I always want to do great things in the world, and help as many people as possible. And I was born and raised in Iran, of course, and I'm an immigrant entrepreneur and Iranian American, or American Iranian, whatever you want to call it. But been to this country for almost 28 years, and came in 1993. I think my math is right. And I was a dishwasher. I was a dishwasher. I couldn't even speak English, but I had one thing in my mind: that how can I change my life? There's a reason that I'm here. How can I make it better? And went through that phase of life, and being a dishwasher, pizza boy, sandwich boy, name it, all that stuff, and got into the restaurant. After 4 or 5 years, I owned my own Italian restaurant downtown Austin. Opened it, opened in August 2000, but 2001 was voted the best Italian restaurant in Austin, Texas. Then after that, went to the restaurant business for many years. Then I got divorced, sold the restaurant, did consulting. And, at age 40, this is interesting for a lot of people. They think there's, everything is possible. Trust me. At age 40, I got my degree. And I remember the first day I walked into the class, the guy said, "Hello, professor." I said, "What the heck are you talking about? I'm a student." They were all like 20, 22, 23, and these freaking old guys coming over there. And then we became friends with all the classmates. the best part of my life. I was a single lad and doing all that stuff, going to school, but I studied management information system, and I did that. And that was a time that I jumped into the, technology, which is my current company, OpticTour Agency, and newly born 3-1 Production, which is a media and video production that you and I would talk about it yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things is happening, and I always had a passion to do speaking and, having a talk show and all that stuff. And I made it happen. Talk to Rami. Come on, baby, talk to me. And the whole thing behind the, talk to Rami is I believe everybody has a story to share. Everyone has a story. We all
Yep.
have a stories that if we say it, a lot of other people that can learn from it and build their life or at least get something out of it.
Yeah.
And the reason that I think the people, they don't share their stories because of vulnerability. They think if they share their stories, bad, usually they don't share the bad stories, which is all the things happens when you share the bad stories, because all the life lessons and business lessons comes from the bad parts, not the good parts. Everybody, talking about the good parts.
Yeah.
You know, they think that they're vulnerable, and they think that they don't want to be vulnerable, and then why they don't want to be vulnerable, because they think it's a sign of weakness.
Yep.
And I don't agree with that. I think, you were here yesterday. We talked about that. I was
Yeah.
vulnerable, and I told you I'm going to these personal issues. I'm going to business. And, after yesterday that we talked, it really was eye opening for me. Even though I'm in the business, me, I work hard. I have done so many great things, but it's still, I show vulnerability, and I talk to a person that I consider my brother, my friend, and I'm serious. And then yesterday, it was amazing. It kind of shook me, and then said, "Okay, hey, shit, man, this is what you're gonna do," and and then it was phenomenon. And then after I talked to the team, and you kind of guide me what I have to do. Don't be an open lens. Just kind of be a tight lens. Focus on something. And they all happened, and today was a better day.
Yeah.
The whole thing is that people, two things: they need to be vulnerable, and they need to find that person that they can talk to.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
It's
That can be a
critical.
friend. It's
Yep.
critical. That be a friend. That can be a mentor. That can be a brother. Whoever is that, you got to go find that person. I have a Steve Harper. Sorry for you, brother, but you know, I'm sitting in a public, man. I used to, for your listeners, I used to, stalk a Steve Harper. He can tell you that story, but this guy said he's not freaking leaving me alone, man. This guy is 55 years old. When I met him, he was 20s, and what the heck is wrong with this guy? But but I love it, man. I love it. I call you anytime. But going back to you, that's my story. And now is my Talk to Rami show. It's all about telling that the stories, interviewing people. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a high-tech CEOs, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a carpenter, anybody,
Yeah.
everybody has something that we can learn from. And that's my job, to tell those untold stories.
Absolutely. And you're gifted at it. That's what I love about it. I think, going back just a little bit, to unpack some of what you shared, let me ask you the question. How did you find the courage to move from Iran to the US?
It was very difficult, because I served in Iran-Iraq war for almost 3 years, because the service, it was a mandatory, and we have to serve in military. And I had two options: to go or to hide. And I said, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna hide,
Yeah.
and I went and enlisted myself. And after that, of course, it's very hard. And and I came down with it, as all the soldiers, they come down with it, with the PTSD. And I was out of it for 6 months. And I had a psychologist, and God rest her soul, she passed away a couple of years ago, and she told me that you got to change your environment. You're in an environment that you got a lot of stuff. You lost friends, loved ones that you served with, and you just got to change. And I called up my sister. She was in Germany at that time, and I said, I'm coming to see you, Sissy. And I went over there, and basically I changed my environment. And I just left with one gym bag, and
Yeah.
that's all. And I went to Germany, and I was there for a year and a half, and then came to United States, that was the best decision I made. the
Yeah.
land of opportunity. It was hard. It was a hard transition, especially when you come to a country that, you don't know too many people and you cannot speak the language, you don't know culture. It's going to be tough, but it's doable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I first met you, right, you had already been here for a while and you were still trying to get your footing. But the thing that impressed me the most, and there was some truth to the stalking because, you kept calling me and I was like, I don't even know who this guy is, right? When you first, read my book and you were trying to, get my attention, get together for a cup of coffee, and I finally relented. You called me and just kind of, wouldn't take no for an answer till I agreed to have coffee with you at the Daily Grind. And we got together, and the one thing that I could see was just this tenacity that you had. You had a desire to get from where you were to where you knew you could go. And to me at the time, it was very inspirational because it was something that, a lot of people weren't as comfortable in their skin as you were, and you knew what you wanted to make of your life and where you wanted to create opportunities even when others might not have seen opportunities. And I was just so impressed. And what I found was, I honestly, when we first met for coffee, I thought, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna be polite, and we're gonna have this conversation. But I'm gonna get the hell out of here out of 20 minutes, right? I've got to beat it. And you and I ended up, I think, spending almost 2 hours, like
Yeah.
really just unpacking, bits of your life, bits of my life, and how much we had in common. And for my audience, it's a perfect example of not judging a book by its cover, right? Here are two people that come from two completely different environments, two different, uh, you know, uh, families, backgrounds, histories, and yet we could find something in common in that we both wanted to make our own individual impact on the world. And that was our common thread. That was our connection point, which I truly appreciated. And you can build not only a great connection, but a really good relationship, and ultimately this best friendship that we've been able to create, all because you're willing to set aside your ego and you're willing to listen to the other person and have that conversation. How different would this world be if more people did that, right?
Oh
You
yeah.
and I've talked
Oh
about
yeah.
this before, but your tenacity and your willingness to put in the work and do the things that were necessary in order to be the kind of entrepreneur you've become. I mean, it's the stuff that legends are made of, man. It's
Yeah,
just impressive.
thank you. Thank you so much. But as you had mentioned, I'm so happy you mentioned that because, you know, the ego is one of the things that, stops people to be who they want to be, or,
Yes.
and then, and besides that, it's a fear of acceptance. I was talking to my son about that. I said, you can do great, but the fear of acceptance, because we all fear that, okay, am I going to be accepted by society, by Steve Harper, by, XYZ,
Yeah.
you got to forget about that.
Yeah.
You got to be who you are. And when you have a mission and you got a love for what you do and you think you can change lives, the rest is just a piece of cake. It's just
Yeah.
you got to go out there and do your best. Like the day that when I was going to meet with you, I was so nervous. As a guy, being in this, stalking this guy. He's an author. He wrote the book, and what the heck you want to talk to this guy about? And you have an accent. Your English is not good, and you might not understand the guy. And I said, I'm sorry for if I said fuck it. I'm gonna go do it. And I did it, and I did, and I'm so happy that I took that chance to connect with you. That's a
Yeah.
great
Me too.
example of people that they miss the opportunities because they are shy to connect. Because if you go over there, genuinely connect with people for who they are and just be a friend, as you always say, that most of your connection happen in Starbucks, or
Hmm.
the places that you didn't even imagine that connection would be the best connection ever. If we think like that, as you said, the world will be a better world. The world of business card, my brother, is dead.
Yes, it
Is
is.
is a, is a
Yep.
heart to heart conversation, as as we say in the ripple effect, that it's all about that. It's all about rippling. It's all about doing the good things.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really stood out to me when we first met, had that first coffee, was neither one of us was trying to push an agenda, right?
No.
You had genuine interest in the book, what inspired me to write it, and you were very forthright about the parts that really spoke to you at that point in your life, which I truly appreciated. Because I mean, that's the highest honor, to know that somebody took what you wrote and was able to sort of begin to apply it into their life. So I was truly grateful for that. But I also realized at the time that, there wasn't this huge ask. There wasn't a gotcha moment on either of our ends. It's like, hey, look, I see you for who you are, and I see what your commitment is and what you want to do in this world. And I'm not too big a person to say, hey, I want to play a role in that.
Yeah.
I want to help you be, whatever it is that you're going to be. And even though we might have just met, right? And we're talking, gosh, 16 years ago, right? Or
A
more.
long time ago.
Um, you know, I didn't care. I didn't need anything out of it, right? The only thing I wanted in return was, hey, I made a new friend, and I saw somebody here that you made it real easy to get behind you, because you were someone who was destined for greatness. And if you could kind of just latch on a little bit to, what you were going to do, I knew you were going to go, you were going to go far, you were going to do great things. And I just kind of wanted to be there to be witness to it, which, coming full circle, right?
Yeah.
You own this agency. I want to talk about OpticTour, and I want to talk about 3-1 Productions. But what I want to tell our audience is that, you've gone through the gamut, right? You decide, hey, I'm going to do consulting. I'm going to do a little bit of coaching. I'm going to get in front of people that are struggling with some of the same things that I know that I struggle with as an early business owner. And I'm going to help them, and I'm going to contribute. I'm going to add value. And you've got this very unique model that you talk about, the CEO model. Could you
Yeah.
share a little bit about that?
Yes, going back to what you said about the connecting with people, what I have learned and in the past and now, that, as you said, we connect with people.
Yeah.
We connect with people heart to heart, get to know them rather than say what you do for a living. This is what we do at the Ripple. This is
Yep.
we do. Yeah, your lessons at 8 Minute Ripple, that we don't trade business card. We talk about our interests. We
Yeah.
talk about who we are, what we love, what we don't like, and then you connect heart to heart. Then you start educating, which is this, and C is for connect, E for educate, and you start educating yourself about that person or
Yeah.
organization. What is all about that? How they create a value to the society, to people. It doesn't matter, and then they educate themselves about you as well.
Yep.
Is a two-way road. The last thing, which is the O, which is CEO, it stands for offer, which is, now what is my offer? Okay,
Yep.
Steve's offer was, I can be your friend and I can be there when you need me. That was an amazing offer. Somebody said, can I count on your friendship? Can I count on you be there for me? Can I be your boyfriend? I don't know. The offer can be something. Can I help you with your business idea?
Just contribute in some
Just
way.
contribute,
Yeah.
just some way,
Yeah.
as you said, in some way. But unfortunately, some people, they start from the offer. I can do this for you. I'm doing it better than the
They
next
start
person.
there.
And
Yeah.
they
They haven't
start
they
there,
haven't
and that's
connected, they haven't engaged, they haven't really built that trust or that relationship.
that hurts.
Yeah.
Really, sometimes when somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, by the way, I can do it," I say, "Hey, stop, stop,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be disrespectful. I don't know anything about you. I
Yeah.
don't know who you are. I don't know what you like. I don't know, I don't want to know your life history, but come on, let's get to know each other." And,
Yep.
when you get to that point, I don't know, right now, I'm really rejecting nothing, against people, but anybody wants to sell me, I can't stand it. I can't, don't sell
Yep.
me, man. Don't sell me. Tell me what you need. How can I serve you?
Yep.
I can be
Yeah.
there for you if you need anything.
Well, like we talked about yesterday at lunch, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to adding value, right? And
Absolutely.
I think that people, this isn't anything. It's not generational. I see people from all age groups, all experience levels, that just don't get it. Everything in life is about the relationship, and you can't get to a relationship until
Amen.
you take the time to connect, take the time to get to know somebody. You build that trust and show that you're there, like you said, being authentic, committed to those heart to heart, belly to belly conversations, really getting to know somebody, discovering those connection points, which I've talked about ad nauseum on this show before.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, looking for ways that you can contribute and add value without any expectation of return. And for those people that are so committed to just pushing their agenda, selling their product, selling their service, they can't get their head wrapped around the fact that, this is going to take some time, but there is so much more reward if you do that, as opposed to just looking for that transaction, that quick hit, that's not how you grow your business. That's not how you grow your reputation. Certainly not how you grow your brand. And you and I have really, I think that was one of the cool things between us, is we had that same mindset and that philosophy. You were consulting for a period of time before you started down this path that you're on now, but doing the consulting with the restaurants. And you and I had
Yep.
this big, I remember a conversation over a beer one night, and we were talking about the difference that most restaurant entrepreneurs have, the ones that are successful versus the ones that weren't. And you and I both hit on the fact that the ones that were successful understood that person that was in for dinner that night wasn't a one-time event. It was up to you to make that event such a magical, perfect opportunity, great food, great experience, great service, all those things. And if you do it right, you've picked up a customer for life, because they'll
Yep.
come back to you over and over and over again. And, just like you did when you owned your restaurant, we didn't know this at the time, but I used to go to that restaurant. You and I never met. We didn't even know each other at that point, but it was an amazing experience every single time that I went to the restaurant, because you had already thought through exactly what you want that experience to be. And everybody that went there knew it and loved it and would tell people about it. And that was what was leading to success. But if you treat that customer as a one-time event, like you're just in for dinner tonight, get them in, get them out so I can get somebody else on that table, they won't be back. And you probably are going to find yourself really struggling to be able to ever have a sustainable long-term business. And that's true of restaurant business, but you and I've seen it in, you pick an industry, right?
Oh
And,
yeah.
and we see it all the time.
I tell you a short story, but I know your listeners, they like the short stories. When I was in the restaurant, one of the things that, I really, committed to do was treat everybody with respect, and every customer are the same. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what
You
is your
could be the
title.
governor, for
You can, yeah,
example.
I told you that the story that Friday night, Governor Rick Perry walks into the restaurant. His wife was there, first lady, every other Wednesday, and his mansion was close to the restaurant. He walks in, and we had an hour wait. And he walks in, of course, with the his details, and the lady was over there, and she said, "Oh, hi, Governor," and all that stuff. And I always call him Rick and Anita. I never call him Mr. Governor. You are in my territory, buddy.
This
And then
is your governor's mansion right
I
here.
know, I know. And then the lady said, "Hey, we're going to give our table to Governor." I said, "No, ma'am. Tonight is your anniversary. You reserved it.
Yeah.
And I can't do that if you wanted it." I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." And I said, "Rick, it's going to be an hour wait. And can I offer First Lady a glass of wine?" And then we start chatting. Time passed by. And then he sat at table 39. I never forget in that corner. And then he called me, he said, "Why did you do that? Why you put you in the wait?" I said, "Because Rick, there's no difference between you. You are Rick. You are a person here. It's
Mhm.
not, you might be our governor, but you're a person." He
That's
said,
just your job.
"That's your job." And he said, "That's the reason that I come here
Yeah.
every week." He said, "That's the reason that I'm come here, because you treat me like a normal person."
Like a regular
And
person. Yeah.
and yeah, and it's like that. That would, if we really follow that and do as added value to everybody, doesn't matter who they are, what they do for a living, or what is their social status is. I think the world would be a better world. But as you said, unfortunately, it's a hard thing to do.
It is, but that's why the work that you do, the work that I do is so important, because we want to remind people how to go out there and do it, and the value that they create when they do it, right? The opportunity for them to meet and, get exposure to so many great relationships when you step outside the box and are willing to do it this way. It's so important. So tell us about Optic Tour, and tell us about 3-1 Productions. I just smile. I sent you that text yesterday, and it was 100%, from the heart, because I am so damn proud of the kind of entrepreneur you've become. You
Oh,
have
thank
your
you,
hands in
brother.
so many things, doing so many things, but you're good at what you do. So tell my audience a little bit about what it is that you do when you're not being a social media god and not creating some amazing podcast interviews.
Thank you so much. For two companies that we work with is OpticTour, which is as a digital marketing agency, and 3-1 Productions, which is a newborn, is a media and audio video production, and for personal branding, corporate executive, all that stuff. But when I was doing a consulting and I, got myself introduced to digital marketing, everybody will sell that. Would you like a website? Would you like the search engine
Yeah.
optimization? Nobody asks how is everything. Nobody thought about the foundation. I give it to like a compare with a human being. We have to have a like a good foundation in order to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like you have a great foundation, you go to the gym, you work out everything, but the first thing you have to think is about your foundation. What is your foundation? Digital marketing is right that you got to have that solid foundation that you can build top of that.
So
You can
explain the foundation for someone who may be like trying to follow, but maybe hasn't had that experience. So
yeah,
explain it for like, any kind of business.
yeah.
Just give an example.
For example, we get it for for the restaurant, for example. That's
Okay.
I know. For the restaurant, your foundation, okay, do you have a decent website? Okay, is your website is optimized before you do any marketing, before you do running any ad? Because at the end, they're gonna send you to your home, which is that website. How is your social media setup? Is it optimized? How is your Google listing? Is your Google listing optimized? How is your directory or name address, phone number? Is it synchronized, or is it all the same across all the search engines? You know, all the using and the keywords on your. This is all we diagnose that. Like put it this way: when you go to doctor, they get your blood pressure, they get your pulse, they get your this, and then we do that the same thing. We have that free consultation. They come and they sit down. We do that. We talk to
That's
them.
like the diagnostics. Hey, here's
Exactly.
where you
This
are right now, and here's what you're doing well, maybe what you could be doing better.
like we had a client and said that I want to run this ad. I want to run a $5,000. I said no, we can't because you're gonna send it through your website. Your website is suck, and then you're wasting money.
Yeah.
I'm not. I cannot do that. That's not right. You got to build the first thing first. You got to do make sure everything that foundation is right, and then you can build up. You can plug in everything to it. But people they say no, I want this. I said, that doesn't work. You have to have a foundation. If you go to doctor and say your blood pressure is high, you got to fix the blood pressure before you freaking go to the gym and you're gonna push that weight.
Yeah.
Or you got to watch your diet. You can't just the diagnosis is very important. That's what the optic tour is famous for. That we really not selling. We're connecting. We understanding the exact same model. CEO. We're educating ourselves about you. At the end, we give you an offer. How about we run a free diagnosis? How about we give you this? How about we talk about this? We're not just selling. Here you go. Yeah, I can do this. I can run an ad. Oh, let me give you your money. Ad campaign. You got to save. And this is the management fee for ad campaign. This is the Facebook ad campaign. We don't do that. And other agencies, we do all respect, some they do. But, and then for 3-1 production, as you know it,
Yeah.
audio and video is just exploding. Like everything is on the form of the audio or video somehow. And then we figured out that how can we tell the story of the people, including business, personal brand, executive, through the lens of camera. This is our job. You come here, our job is mine, and I'm very good at it, as you said. Thank you. And I extract people, I extract stories
Yeah.
because as we talked yesterday, how many people out there that it doesn't a small business owner that they have done great things based on their vision, based on their product, based on their food, but nobody knows about that person, the face of the freaking thing. And our job is to extract that, put in the format audio, video, and a lot of other details goes into it that you know we don't have time to explain, but that's basic is a 3-1 production. And we have our own studio. People that can come here, they're comfortable. We got the top-notch equipment and
Hmm.
everything else, and our job is those tools, they help us to get those stories. And
Yeah,
as
the thing that impresses me about, both entities is the team that you've built, right? So at the end of the day, like whether it's Optic Tour helping, a business navigate what they need to do differently on the web, having a better web presence, maximizing their SEO, understanding where their traffic's coming from and how to maximize that. And like you said, just like with the example that you gave with the client that wanted to just plop down this big, chunk of cash, you could do that, but it's just wasted money. And there are a lot of organizations I know that be like, hey, if that's what you want to do, feel free to do it. But
Oh
you're
yeah.
advising and guiding and directing, excuse me, with your clients, which makes you a valued partner in the process. I know because we used you for one of my software companies, right? And you helped us put together a really phenomenal website and web presence. But there were things that we thought we wanted to do that you guys came back and said, no, I don't think so. And here's why. And so that's part of the educate piece, which is so powerful in terms of understanding what their operation is doing, what the ultimate goal is. It's not just about putting a pretty looking, presence out there. It's about how do you make that pretty looking presence pay off, make
Yes.
money, bring more traffic to your organization. And then I think what you've done with 3-1 is brilliant, because you recognize there's one element of marketing that's really important, which is that web presence, your SEO, your Google AdWords, all those things that you need to do. But then there's this other piece, which is the storytelling, right?
Yep.
It's through the podcasts, it's through, the visual, representation, through better videos that you can put on your website, and be able to equip people that land on that site to actually hear part of the story, which I think is just, it's phenomenal. And I think, the fact that you have both of these things off and running and doing such a great job, the clients that you work with love you. They know, the investment that they're making with you is going to pay dividends.
Yeah, because we have clients, they come and say, I'm doing these videos. I said, and what I'm going to do with it? I said, okay, we build your foundation. We do that. Now we got the assets. We can do that. But, going beside the business, Steve, everything I want to tell your listeners, this happens when you genuinely connect with the individual or businesses. Like
Yeah.
everything happens with our clients because we told them the truth. We told
Yep.
them exactly like what it is. I want Steve Harper to tell me, Ramin, you're making a mistake. And that's priceless, man.
Yeah.
I wanted your listeners to understand that you got to have that person in your life,
Yep.
in business, or somebody that you can talk to you and actually point out your weaknesses and don't get upset. Weaknesses and fixing makes you stronger.
Yeah.
When you fix
Absolutely.
when you fix it, and when you have a person that does that for you without no expectation at all, that's a god-given gift that nobody understands. That and that
Yeah.
happens to me with you, all the time, and a couple of friends, and I'm so grateful to have you. Actually, I'm telling you in public that have you in my life, my brother. You don't know, I'm so appreciate that you always take my phone call, you always message my, even you have a hectic business as coach, CEO, name it, rippler, chief rippler. You have done more than enough. And then if I understands that, I would, hold on it for the rest of my life, because this opportunities doesn't show. And I'm sure your listeners, they have such a people in their lives, but they don't see it, or they haven't kind of recognized that, or they
Yeah.
haven't asked. But
Yeah. That's a
everything
good point.
happens. Everything happens when you connect.
Yep.
Period. Period.
Absolutely. Without question. I agree. And I appreciate those very kind words. I feel exactly the same about you. It's easy to support good people, right? It's easy to see people that are going to show up and do the work and follow through on what they say they'll do. And that's definitely you. I mean, without question, for sure. Let me switch gears for a second.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a mini ripple. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you
I love that.
some questions that I think will give our listeners even a little bit more further insight as to who you are. What, in your opinion, is the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur?
Oh wow, that's being a great entrepreneur is different. It's not a freedom, because you
Everybody
free, but
says it's
yeah,
freedom,
it's
but it's not.
freedom, but it's not a freedom. You work actually more.
Yeah.
For me personally, about the entrepreneur is I can really change lives and help as many people as I can with the vision and solution that I come up with. Because an entrepreneur job is to come up with a vision or the solution to help other people. Everybody making mistakes that I want to be entrepreneur because I want to quit my business. I want to have my own. No, no, no. That's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is you have a vision that you create values for other people, and then you make money on the side. That's
Yeah.
that's that's being an entrepreneur. And my the reason, what is the best thing that I can get up every morning and said, oh, I'm going to do this. I want to help that. I have this idea. Maybe that idea is going to help so many people. That's what I think my definition of entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur
I
is.
love it. I love it. So, what do you think, in your opinion, is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur?
It's saying no.
Yeah,
Uh, is the hardest things, and I'm learning that. I learned that in the hard way.
I
I
think we
had
talked about this yesterday, as
yeah,
a matter of
yeah,
fact.
we talked about yesterday, and after you left, believe it or not, I sent those emails, and it was very hard, Steve. It was very hard, but I took your advice to my heart, and then I told him, "I'm sorry, I have to say no."
Yeah,
Because I get offers every day, left and right, trust, especially in the restaurant or hospitality industry, that to just be there for him, to just be their coach or consult with them. I say, I can't, I can't, I can't.
yeah,
I had a hard time to say no, and it bite my butt sometimes, because you can't, you spread yourself, too thin, but that's the hardest thing for an entrepreneur to say no. If you are a true entrepreneur that you want to help everybody, that's the hardest thing to do.
yeah. Well, it's sometimes hard, as a coach, like I tend to be, and sometimes just being a good friend, to tell people that, to squash their enthusiasm a little bit, like I did you yesterday, because you're like, look at, I got this going on, I got that
Yeah,
going on. But you got to laser focus in on the things that are the most important to you. Because part of the reason that we go into entrepreneurship is we want to be able to control our destiny a little bit more, right? And when everybody else is controlling our time and our attention and creating difficulties and challenges where being an entrepreneur doesn't offer the freedom that we had once hoped it would, that's when things start to not be so great, right? And be a little bit difficult. So it can be a real
you're
challenge.
absolutely right.
So, yeah, it was a little bit of tough love during lunch yesterday, but I paid. So, I mean, I was entitled to be able to
Yeah,
give you a
yeah.
little.
Yeah, yeah. But I took it well.
I love it. I love it. So, if you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what would you be doing professionally?
Professionally, uh, I was probably be a. I would do a very good as a chief marketing officer or executive or account executive or something like that. You put me in the box, I die. You put me in the office, I die. Like next day, I'm dead. I got to be out there. I got to talk to people. I get energy from people,
Yeah.
and that's anything I had to do. It had to be like a chief people officer. I don't know whatever you want to call it, but I
Yeah. You'd be
love,
great at
yeah,
that, actually.
yeah,
Really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love to do that, and just having fun with people and helping along the way.
What do you think what do you think your superpower is?
Connecting with people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I told you yesterday. I walk to people. I have no problem walking up to people in the restaurant, and I don't know what it is. They respond very well to me. Like I had a lawyer appointment today. This is interesting. I walk in. She didn't know. I thought she didn't doesn't know anything about me. When I left, I said, "How much do I owe you?" It was a consultation. It was a paid consultation. She said, "Nothing." I said, "Why?" She said, watch your talk show, and one of your episode is really spoke to my heart." I said, "What?" And I
I
said,
love
"What?"
it. Yeah.
And I said, "What? Are you serious?" She said, "Yeah. I studied you. I went online, searched your name, and you talk about something that it really hit me, and that's you would if you would charge me for that, we would be even right now." I said, "Oh my God, thank you so much." She gave me a hug. She said, "Keep up with the good work." And I didn't even know this lady.
Yeah.
It was a referral of another friend, but such a small world. That's what I'm saying. The superpower for some people is, for me, is connecting with people. I love that. Like, I love learning from them, even the old people, young. It doesn't matter if you're 18, I still can learn from you.
I love it. Yeah. And you're exceptional at it. There's no doubt. How has your life changed now that you are uber famous on
No.
Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube? And you've got
N-
this amazing Talk to Rami, podcast that's got its own life of its own, right?
you
So
know,
how's your
nothing.
life changed being famous?
It's not actually. I don't consider that being famous. I will never be famous. not famous than more than Steve Harper, guys, because he's just
You must be
he's a,
talking about the Prime Minister of Canada, not
yeah,
me.
no. Actually, this is I get to you. I told one of my friends, and she said, "Hey, you got to meet the Steve Harper." He went search that and takes me back. Holy shit, that's the Steve Harper that you were friend. I said, which one? He sent me a picture. I said, no, this is Steve Harper. But still, it was good. But I'm not famous. I never consider myself famous. Even though my Instagram is blowing, I get a lot of messages here. I help people as much as I can. The whole thing about this celebrity, I don't believe influencer. I don't believe followers. I just believe that how many true fans you have.
Yeah.
I have probably five close friends. One of them is Steve Harper that I can call at 2 a.m. I know that, and Kathy would not bitch at me,
She won't get mad. Yeah.
you know. But I know that. But I have a lot of friends that come, and the whole thing is about the social media and all this stuff with my podcast and everything. If I can change one life, I am grateful. I'm so happy that somebody listens to it and say, "Oh shit, he's right."
Yeah.
I don't need anything. I don't need pay. I don't need influencer pay things. And I get messages to go, "Hey, can you wear this? Can you do that? Wear this shirt. We're gonna get." I said, "No, no, 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 no. This is not. Social media is a tool to connect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is a tool to connect, and it's a tool that." If you are okay with it, be vulnerable and tell your pain and suffering, maybe somebody out there can help you out.
And I mean, I can't emphasize that statement enough. It's a tool to connect, not a tool to. It's not your bully pulpit. It's not your megaphone. It's the people that do that. That's part of the reason that social media gets such a bad rap, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because they're using it for pushing an agenda or an approach. And like this time of the year with the elections happening, and the political climate being what it is, the economy, there are a lot of deciding opinions, and you and I know, because we coach and consult in the space, how many people are actually doing damage to their personal and professional
A
brands
lot.
because they don't understand the value of the tool, right? They're
They,
pushing
they
it the wrong way.
they really don't understand. As you said, is an amazing tool. I always tell everybody when I do have this, coaching session, said, you have a knife. Knife can cut the watermelon. Knife can be a survival tool. A knife can kill and be a weapon.
Yeah,
It's your choice.
that's right.
It's your choice.
Yeah,
And it's totally our choice. I think everything that happens to us, we are responsible. We will do it to ourselves.
yeah,
The social media, we did it like that. Now everybody's saying the same. Their Facebook, their things. Of course, they got a lot of privacy issue, all that stuff. But it's at the end, it's up to us who we're gonna elect, who we're gonna marry, who is
yeah,
gonna be my friend, who I'm gonna connect to. It's all goes back to us.
yeah. And what we do with it and how we do
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
exactly.
agree. So, where do you find your inspiration?
I find my inspiration by looking at other people's, not copying it, because I believe you are a very unique individual. The moment you're going to be somebody else, you already lost. Don't do it. Forget it. You are who you are. You are amazing if you're listening, and you are capable of doing so many great things in the world. And you just need to find a way and think about self-awareness. The moment if you start knowing yourself and who you are, who you want to be, and what you're going to do, how you're going to contribute to everything else is solved. But for me, I read books, I listen to podcasts, even I learned English through Tony Robbins. It was a Mazda Protege 1993 black. It had a cassette
Yeah,
tape,
yeah, yeah,
and I still have it. I was listening to. I wouldn't understand 80%, but that helped me to learn. And it's still today, I'm driving and listening to podcasts, your podcast, Louis Howe, all these people that I admire, and I learn every day. Guys, girls, it's freaking free. People don't understand. Have you paid attention, Steve? When you say free, okay, but if you put a price on that, everybody want to do it.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
going to listen to it if you put a price on it. But it's free out there. Steve Harper, Ripple, it's free. God damn it! I'm serious. You want to learn how to connect? Here you go, the ripple effect. Come on, it's not complicated. It's free. Listen to it, man.
I love it.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
And that's how we get my inspiration from other people, from you. There's a lot of other people out there that I listen and learn and read, every day because every morning I have 20 minutes to commute to work, and 20 minutes you can do a lot of damages.
You can. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, for those that are out there that listen to these things, right? Follow that advice. What can you do with 20 minutes, right?
Wow.
What can you improve your life? How can you improve your life? What can you learn? What can you experience? And the reality is, I think, because things are free or a little more accessible, people don't value them. And I think if you approach it from a different attitude, like, what can I take from this experience? What can I take from this content? What can I do, with this great information that I'm learning? And how can I apply it to my relationships? How can I apply it to my business? How can I apply it to my own personal growth? I think there's just so much value in that. So I think you're a big inspiration in that regard. And obviously, Talk to Rami is a great resource for those that want to check it out. I'd highly recommend you subscribe to what you're doing, because the videos, the podcast episodes, they're all so phenomenally done. I mean,
And I
it's
can add
credit to you and your
something.
team for sure.
I can add something here. If you guys are listening or watching this, if you have a story, and I don't care who you are, I don't need what is your social status is, I don't care if you're a CEO, you're an artist. If you have a story that you think other people they can learn from, please reach out to me. I would love to interview you. I would love to tell that story to other people because I know your story would change lives, even though you think it would not.
Yeah.
I promise you, it will change people's lives. Share it.
There you
Share
go.
it.
That's a great offer. We're going to put your contact information, in the show notes here, and we'll include it on the video when we edit this. But that's a great, great offer for sure. Let me ask you, what does the next 5 years look like for you?
5 years, to be honest with you, I really want to kind of work on this new idea of the getting a story out of people, because I know everything we do is all about our stories. Every
Yep.
corporation, from Tesla to a small one, big one, it's all about the stories. If I can tell those stories from the perspective of executive or people, entrepreneur, what they went through, that would be amazing. And I really want to have, my goal is to have my TV talk show.
I love it. I
I
love it.
really want to have that. I know I can do it. Maybe somebody out there is listening, of us, actually going to actually reach to Opera and say, hey, just let me talk to you. You
Yeah.
never know. I
Yeah.
can do better than Dr. Phil. Trust me. I'm
Careful.
just
Dr.
joking.
Phil's going to send the black helicopters down to Austin from
I,
Dallas.
I
You're
know,
not
no.
careful.
I actually, I like the guy. I met him a couple of times in the people's, bookstore in Austin. But
Oh, that's
when
awesome.
he wasn't famous, but
Yeah.
that's a joke. But I can do it. That's my goal because
It's a
I can
great
really
goal.
connect with people. Even it's a local TV station. I don't know, but my whole goal is just be with people, help them, learn from them, and make a difference. This is my whole thing because I believe legacy is now.
Yeah. I love that.
Legacy is now.
I love that. So, last couple of questions. What's the most important thing in life, in your opinion?
Most important thing in life, to know who you are.
That's great.
You gotta know who you are, man. The moment you figure it out that who you are and what you want, everything else it would be a piece of cake. Most of us we are stuck because of the others people judgment, and we're not honest with ourselves. Who the hell I want to be? Not
Yeah.
for Steve, not for grandma, not for this boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Who am I gonna be? That I like it. Do
Yeah.
I like myself? The moment you figure that who you are, everything's so. And most of the people that self awareness that they don't know who they are. I promise
Yeah.
you, I have seen CEOs, I have
Yep.
seen executive, I've seen everybody. Never thought about that. Oh, really? Oh, my wife wants to do this. I said, no, 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 no.
What do you?
Who,
Yeah.
who are you? What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? And if we figure that's the most important thing.
Ah, that's great. That's great. So, last question. What does the ripple effect actually mean to you?
Oh my God, don't get me started on that. You need another hour. Yeah, you really want to go that you want to go that route? you
Give me
you
the Cliff
you're
Notes version of
okay.
your opinion.
I can tell you guys, make my job easier. Read this book. Third edition is out by
Yeah,
Steve Harper. You guys, I'm serious. Not not here is you know
not
promoting,
a
but
paid endorsement.
not paid endorsement or anything else, guys. But if you really, this is simple about what ripple effect means to me. Ripple effect means to me a lot because it taught me how to connect. I knew it, but made me much better. That connection point. Those connection points are understand when you understand the power of connection points and how you can connect with other people and figure that things out, and everything will be solved. And the ripple will happen. Trust me, it will happen. Me and Stevie both have seen it in our lives. It happens every freaking day. Steve
Absolutely.
sent me a Monday Ripple email. Hey, do you know anything? And I love that. You got to start doing that.
Yeah.
And and then I said, can you help this person? Do anybody? It's just for doing it. It's a great feeling. And ripple effect is just as you know, the name is a ripple effect. And you do something good, it's gonna come back to you like a rock in the river. It's just amazing that by helping other people, actually you're helping yourself.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
helping yourself, and you create a better life for yourself and people that you love, people that you love and that are around you, because giving is better than receiving at the end. By giving, you create a better life. It's just simple as that. Ripple effect is all about giving. I think it's about giving and helping without no expectations comes back to you, and just keep doing it. Can keep doing it,
Keep
and
doing it. Well,
you connect with people and read the book. By the way, always.
well, I love that answer, and I love that advice. I think it's great advice. I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, it's a perfect description of what the ripple really does mean. And you coming into my life has created so many positive ripples, and I'm so grateful for it. How can our listeners who aren't already following you? I mean, yeah, you got everything's blowing up for you right now, but how do they best follow you and
You know,
plugged
the
into the Rami amazing experience here?
I always respond to my Instagram, and it's actually me, guys. I responded. I
Yeah.
don't have anything. At talk to Rami, talk number two, and Rami. That's my Instagram handle. Twitter, I'm not as involved as I should be, but the best way to reach out to me is my Instagram at talk to Rami, and LinkedIn, of course, if you have any need any advice, professional, everything else, and I'm there to help you. But once again, if you have any really stories that I can share with other peoples in the world, that means a lot to me because I can't do it by myself. I'm nobody, man. We're nobody. We're just another tool. We're not another person. We're trying to do good things, but whole thing happens when we all come together.
Yeah.
Everything
Absolutely.
happens when we come together, and then when people they understand that the power of we all coming together and connecting, it will it will create a ripple like a tsunami. I am telling you, it would create a ripple like a tsunami if we all coming together. To 300 ripplers. I love that
I
movie.
still have that movie that you
You
gave
still
me.
have
So yeah, I love it.
it?
It's a unbelievable approach that you take in life, and you are
Thank you.
authentic as the day is long, and you live it. You are true example of a rippler. I'm so grateful for our friendship, and to watch this journey unfold. It just every time I pop open my Instagram or I see a new post that you guys have made, I am just so proud of everything that you're
Thank
doing. I
you.
mean,
Means a
you are
lot.
creating positive ripples out there like you wouldn't believe. And I can't wait to see what the next chapter looks like for you, because I know it's going to be ginormous. And so,
Hopefully, I can help as many people as possible. That's my goal. That's my ultimate goal.
absolutely. Well, you're
Yeah.
doing it, and you're going to continue to do it. So, and we'll be there along for the ride, and we'll be watching with, bated breath on what's next. So,
Yeah.
Rami, thanks for everything. Thanks for being a
Thank
part
you.
of this show. Thanks for being part of my network, being one of my best friends in the world. You are a genuine, authentic guy that everybody needs to know. So I'm so grateful that you came on the
Thank you
Ripple
so
Effect
much. Thank
podcast.
you so much for having me. And the same here, man. You're the best. I love hanging around with you and learning from you every day. I learn something from you, and that's amazing. I got to talk about you too. People, they have to know that if you need any help, guys, guidance, reach out to Steve, not me. I call him for that advice. Don't call me. No, he's amazing. But thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. Well, hey,
I'm
ripple on,
grateful.
brother. Ripple on.
Ripple on, brother. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, guys, we'll be back again with another episode of the Ripple Effect podcast very soon. But be sure to check out Talk to Rami. Look for him on Instagram. Look for him on Twitter. Find him on LinkedIn, and just tune into that podcast. You'll be glad you did. And we'll see you next time on. We'll be back. We'll be back again with another episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. So I'll see you soon.